Welcome to HortTube. My name is Jim Putnam. In this video, I'm going to show you how to properly plant an Encore Azalea. I'm using an Autumn Fire Encore Azalea in this video. This is a beautiful red, lower growing variety, only gets about 2 to 3 feet tall, hardy in zone 6 to 10, so a lot of you watching can actually plant this plant. This is a perfect little low doming evergreen shrub. We want to get started, if it's an existing bed space, we want to get the mulch removed from the area as much as possible. We don't want that mulch falling in the hole when we're planting. And so I'm pretty thorough about pulling this mulch back. If you're putting it into a new bed space it's grass in that area, you want to remove the grass, same as I'm doing here, and give it plenty of space, okay? I use a trenching shovel because I think it's easier to dig with. I want to dig a hole that's about 1.5 to 2 times wider than that container, but about the same depth, okay? The depth, we don't want to plant Encore Azaleas very deep, and in fact, we're going to end up raising them up some. Most of the roots on an Encore Azalea or any azalea are up in the top 2 or 3 inches of soil. I have this about 1.5 times the width of that container and about the same depth. I can actually put the plant within the container, set it into that hole just to kind of confirm that I have a pretty good fit here, okay? From there, I have clay soils here. They're not too bad, but in heavy clay soils, we need to put something mixed into the clay to prevent it from recompacting really tightly around the plants. And for that, I'll either use a little bit of compost or a little bit of pine bark soil conditioner. The pine bark soil conditioner is actually what the plants are grown in. And if it's available to you, it's just a ground pine bark product right there. Alternatively, you can just use some sort of quality compost. Either way, it'll work. All I'm trying to do, like I say, is to prevent this clay from recompacting. I'll take this pine bark and just pour it around the edge, just like that. I'll grab my shovel again. I'll incorporate that bark into that. If a little bit's falling back in the hole, I don't mind, because I actually want to elevate this plant. And so I've put about 2 inches of soil back into the bottom, or it fell back in. I'm going to take my shrub, and typically the best way to get one out is to actually hold it upside down and support it well, just like this, and then take it off like this. If it's too tight in the container, you can hit it a couple times on the side with the side of your fist or a tool, and then flip it over, pull the pot off over the top. Azaleas have really fibrous root systems. They typically don't wrap around as much as some other plants do. It usually gets out to the edge and just mats down if it's pretty root bound, and this one kind of is. It has a goodly amount of roots around the outside of it. I have a saw here, and rather than go crazy pulling at these, I'll typically just take my saw and just like this, I'll cut it from the top to the bottom in 3 or 4 different places. Like I say, these roots aren't really running around the edge of the pot. They're just reaching the edge and congregating there rather than wrapping around. But that's basically it. If it's a really severe case of being root bound, sometimes on azaleas, I'll take the bottom of the root system off, maybe 1 inch up from the bottom, and that's it. From there, these will root out. And you can see when you pull one out, the roots are definitely different than other plants. They're really super fibrous. I'm gonna set him in the hole, and I use my shovel just like this and set it on the edge. And I wanna bring this root ball up to about the top of that shovel. That'll have the plant raised up 1 inch or 2, and I'm still a little bit low. So I'm going to use my shovel and pull a little bit of this soil mix back in here, just like this. Set them back in here, and that should do it. Just check that the root ball and the top of that shovel are the same. That works perfect. That's a quick reference to check. I'm going to backfill this slowly. Don't want to knock a lot of that mulch back into the hole. Just want the soil mix. And I'll kind of stomp around a little bit. Not trying to get all the air out of it, but just firm it in, just like that. And again, I'll go all the way around. At the end of this, I actually want a small amount of that root ball sticking up above the grade, and my mulch will take care of the rest of filling it in. I'll show you that up close real quick. So you can see I have my soil mix packed back around it here, but it's still elevated just a little bit above that grade, and my mulch will take care of the rest of that. So from there, there's just 2 steps left. We want to just pull back our mulch around here, or if it, like I say, if it was a new bed space that you're just creating, you want some sort of mulch around the roots. Like I say, the roots on azaleas are up in that top 1 or 2 inches of soil, and it's very important that we keep those roots cool during the summertime. And mulch will help with that and keep them warm in the wintertime. So I pulled that mulch back around, and then I go back under here and I make sure that I didn't just bury it as I went around. So everything now is level on the top of the mulch, and that root ball is absolutely perfect. So the last step is to drag a water hose to your newly planted Encore Azalea and water it in very, very thoroughly. Saturate the entire space where the root ball is and out from it quite a bit. You don't want dry soil out from the plant here. That dry soil will just wick the water away from your plant. So saturate the entire area very thoroughly, and then we're going to check it in a few days, and we'll reach down here, dig around it with our finger. If it's still moist, leave it alone. Do not water this plant again until it actually is slightly dry around the base of it. So thank you very much for watching this demonstration on how to plant an Encore Azalea. This autumn fire Encore Azalea is absolutely one of my favorites. Perfect little dwarf, 2 to 3 foot tall, evergreen shrub, blooms 3 times a year. You can't beat it. Thanks for watching.